Rider fans will see changes to the game they love. Why can't Real attract more concerts to the Queen City? And a fourth person is charged in a Regina shooting.
Live from our studios in Regina, this is CTV News.
Good evening. Brace yourself, Canadian football fans. The 55-yard line will soon be a thing of the past. Today, CFL Commissioner Stuart Johnston announced changes to the game over the next few years, including field size, moving the goalposts. Even the Rouge will see a tweak. Jacob Carr has the details.
Today, we announce a significant step towards achieving our vision for the future of the CFL.
The CFL game will look a lot different come 2027. By that time, the league will have modified its field length to 100 yards, its end zone length to 15 yards, and moved the goalpost to the back of the end zone. Despite the similarities these changes have to the NFL game, CFL Commissioner Stuart Johnston said this is about opening up the game.
I look at the turf as a canvas. It's a canvas for our great game. 12 players, waggle, 3 downs. And we have cleaned up our canvas, and we've made it so much more open.
Other changes include a new 35-second play clock, and the Rouge only being awarded when a player takes a knee in the end zone or can't advance the ball out. Representatives of the Saskatchewan Roughriders believe that these changes will open up more scoring, which is something the fans of the league will appreciate.
Anytime you have an opportunity to score more touchdowns, and with all respect to our kickers, less field goals, I think is a good thing for fans, because that's what, fans. The touchdown is the most, exciting play we have. There's a reason that Gaynor drives around the field after touchdowns and not field goals.
While there is positivity from members of the CFL, in the CJHL, it is a different story. The Regina Thunder say that the field changes will hurt their bottom line. The team plays one annual game against the rival Hilltops at Mosaic Stadium, a game they will likely have to move to Leibel Field.
I'm kind of pissed off about it because, I'm just sitting there going, we're losing that revenue that we normally would get from the Hilltop games, which is important for our football club. So if we didn't go to Mosaic Stadium for our game against the Hilltops, we would lose $40,000 in revenue.
All other teams in the CJFL do not play in professional stadiums, so the Thunder believe that Leibel will be their permanent home moving forward. Jacob Carr, CTV News, Regina.
Ongoing uncertainty over the future of the Regina Exhibition Association may be having an impact on attracting major concerts to Saskatchewan's capital, and that's according to the new CEO. Wayne Mantika has more.
Be strong, because it's stronger to love somebody.
The Real District says it's in a holding pattern when it comes to attracting major concerts.
Until the City of Regina resolves Motion MN 25-2, which is the question around governance, should Real be rolled back into the City of Regina or another governance structure?
Real believes the situation may be creating hesitancy with concert promoters.
Potentially, yeah. There's some uncertainty from the live entertainment industry that says, should Regina continue to be a spot when there's a question of, will the promoter be dealing with Real District or will the promoter be dealing with the City of Regina?
However, the situation isn't preventing Real from exploring opportunities.
Chapel Rowan, I think there's, we're ready, we're waiting, we've shared our enthusiasm for it, and, I think the community would say, we're here for you. You've made a promise, and we'd be eager to help you fulfill that promise.
The new head of Real made the remarks following an event where Bungie assumed naming rights to the former Viterra International Trade Center. It follows merger of the two companies.
You know what? I'd love to see Garth Brooks come back. He put on such a great show last time.
Did you go to that one?
I did.
A city report on the future of Real will be completed by next summer. Real says any decisions are up to the city, but having certainty as soon as possible would be beneficial to Real's operation. Wayne Mantika, CTV News, Regina.
Regina police have charged a fourth person in relation to a shooting incident in Regina last month which injured an 11-year-old girl. On August the 11th, police were called to Regina's Eastview neighborhood on the 1000 block of Edgar Street around just after 2 a.m. following a report that a girl was suffering from an apparent gunshot wound. She was inside a home in the area at the time of the shooting. On Friday, 18-year-old Noah Pollock Mayer was arrested and charged with conspiracy to commit murder, possession of property obtained by crime over $5,000, and failure to comply with conditions of release. He made his first court appearance this morning. Saskatchewan NDP are suggesting the province make big changes in the healthcare system through the province-wide consultation process. The opposition launched a website where patients, families, frontline workers, and citizens can share their experiences. The NDP say they plan to gather enough information for at least 6 months to create a report which would then be used to formulate solutions. Although, as the opposition, they would need the Sask party support.
We know that the stakes are very high. We know that we can't afford to continue going in the wrong direction. And so I would say that everything is on the table. And we know that the people that are out there experiencing the healthcare, accessing the healthcare system, working in the healthcare system have ideas. And that's where we want the seed of this big, bold change to come from.
The government of Saskatchewan says they're doing a number of things to try to address these concerns, including adding positions in emergency rooms and moving administrative expenses to those working on the front line. Sabine's in with weather. I'm surprised. I didn't know if you were coming in right away or not. Didn't have any indication. How are things shaping up in this work week? We're getting, we're in fall now.
Yeah, but it doesn't feel like it outside. The autumn equinox officially entered Saskatchewan at 12:19 this afternoon, Lee, and the temperatures continued to climb into the 20s and will continue to climb throughout this week. We're going to see those summer-like conditions sticking around at least for this week before we start to see those seasonal conditions return as we head into next week. Now, as you can see on the radar satellite, mainly clear conditions. Didn't really see much for precipitation. A little bit of that light cloud cover you can see coming through parts of eastern Saskatchewan earlier this evening, but temperatures still sitting quite nice. We're still in the 20s for many parts of the province, all the way up into the north there. Buffalo Narrows at 21 degrees. The average is about 17 degrees at this time of year. We warmed up to about 23 degrees. We're well above the seasonal for lows and highs, and that'll continue, but I'll have all those details coming up in your full forecast. Lee?
Thank you, Sabine. A number of police officers from across Saskatchewan were honored today for their work in getting impaired drivers off the road. Hallie Mandrick has that story.
It has been nearly 10 years since the Van Voorst family lost 4 loved ones in an impaired driving tragedy.
All of our family still thinks, I wish they were there. There's a part of them that we miss. We miss the funniness, we miss the loving, we miss the hugs.
Jordan and Shanda, along with their young children, Cameron and McGuire, all lost their lives in 2016 when an impaired driver hit their vehicle. This tragic event inspired the family to create an award to honor the Saskatchewan police officers who work to get impaired drivers off the road.
By the officers stopping them from driving impaired, they are saving lives. I wish an officer could have stopped the person who hit our children and our grandchildren, and we wouldn't have to do this.
Mad Canada's Van Voorst Family Awards have been presented to 191 officers for their efforts in the last year. The awards are handed out in 3 different categories, depending on the number of impaired drivers each officer has removed from Saskatchewan roads. The highest honor being the Platinum Award for those who have charged more than 40 people with impaired driving.
That speaks to the officers' dedication, their desire to make a difference, to make the roads safer, and to do what they can do in their own way to make the roads safer for Saskatchewan.
For the Van Voorst family, this award is their way of promoting a very important message.
The big reason is that we don't want somebody else to suffer this loss. It's preventable. You don't have to drive after you've been drinking. There's all kinds of ways to get home.
Hallie Mandrick, CTV News, Saskatoon.
To commemorate the 85th anniversary of the Battle of Britain, members of the Royal Canadian Air Force gathered at 15 Wing Moose Jaw on Sunday to honor those who were lost during a pivotal point of World War II. Sierra D'Souza Butts has the details.
Honoring Royal Canadian Air Force members in his hometown of Moose Jaw holds a personal meaning to veteran Ken Hawks.
It means a lot to me. My family was all military. For them it was huge, and followed to me.
Hawks is one of many in attendance who come from a long line of service with a rich history inspiring many younger pilots.
There's a lot of tradition, a lot of history, and I think a lot of the young people like to embrace that, especially with these type of events. At the mess in where we work, there's lots of history everywhere, and it's one of the proud points of serving in the Air Force. You get to be part of that history, you get to celebrate it. So I think, like especially myself, I love the history of these types of things.
A ceremony recognizing the 85th anniversary of the Battle of Britain took place at the 15 Wing near Moose Jaw, paying tribute to the Royal Canadian Air Force's role in helping to defend Britain in 1940.
That's when Hitler threw everything at us. We were at the UK at that time. And he didn't expect that we'd have the aircraft that we had.
The commemoration takes place annually on the Sunday after September 15th, which marked the climax of fighting in the skies over London.
In the First World War, it was just the start of air power. And World War II is when it really started to come to head with the technological advancements that we had at that time. So it was realized at that point that air power was going to have a significant advantage on the battlefield.
Adding, recognizing historic battles like this one is significant to reminding younger pilots on what it takes to defend the values and freedoms Canadians have. Sierra D'Souza Butts, CTV News, near Moose Jaw.
A piece of Prince Albert's broadcast history is headed for the auction block. The building that housed live television programs for decades will soon be sold to the highest bidder. Jasmine Pelche takes a look at what used to be home to CTV Prince Albert.
It's a piece of Prince Albert history. The old broadcast building off Central Avenue is up for auction. The facility saw many local media personalities over several decades, and Prince Albert's Jim Scarrow spent many years of his broadcast career working out of the station.
I think when people saw the advertisements for the building going up for auction with all the pictures, they could identify very quickly with the building, and there was, I think, kind of an emotional tug to it.
Scarrow says former Prime Minister John Diefenbaker would stop in at the station.
He'd come to the radio station and would be just like a newsman peeling off the reams of paper that had come in overnight and got his news that way in that building.
Gord Barnett was a camera operator and field producer who moved from Ontario to Prince Albert in 1975 for a job at the station.
As far as operations, I was their first hire as somebody who was a college graduate.
Over the course of his nearly 45-year career, Barnett worked for many broadcasting companies like CKBI and CTV, but was always based out of the building on 10th Street. He has since moved back to Ontario, but keeps the memories with him.
It was great just for that opportunity to meet really interesting people, and the interesting people weren't just celebrities and politicians stuff. So many amazing people.
The old station sits on auction as is, including the parking lot and all contents except for antenna towers and communication relays. The auction closes October 9th. Jasmine Pelche, CTV News, Prince Albert.
4 sculptures marking a moment in Regina history were revealed to the public in Les Sherman Park on Saturday. The 4 sculptures inspired by the oldest tree in Regina, which was taken down in 2023 at Victoria Park. As part of the team to assemble the sculptures, 3 students and 1 professor at the U of R came together to display their work. Sean Warren was picked by the City of Regina to lead the project and oversaw the 3 students and their sculptures.
The idea of the project is to allow the tree to decay and to return to nature and to feed and foster the trees around it.
Created a little piece out of bronze. It's a beaver swimming, and just being here in the park, there's a river flowing, there's trees, and the beaver is such an important animal for the ecosystem.
Students took about 3 to 4 weeks to complete the process. Still ahead, the search is on for a missing 5-year-old boy in a Crow's Nest Pass. And the status of Palestine is front and center at the UN's General Assembly.
Your morning just got a little brighter. Start your day with CTV Your Morning, and you could win $20,000. For your chance to win, watch CTV Your Morning Saskatchewan, weekday mornings 6.
The search for a missing 5-year-old boy continues in a Crow's Nest Pass more than 24 hours after he was last seen. Yesterday morning, Darius McDougall was hiking with his family near Island Lake Campground when he disappeared. RCMP say they were on a road that connects to Tent Mountain and allows camping on Crown land. The area off Highway 3 near the Alberta-BC border includes steep terrain. Dozens of search and rescue members, RCMP, and conservation officers are looking for him. McDougall suffers from a medical condition that police say may prevent him from responding to others.
A 5-year-old boy will react in a specific situation is difficult at the best of times. So we need to keep that in mind. Fortunately for us, we are able to draw upon the provincial resources in Alberta.
Officers and search team members will work through the night. The RCMP is requesting assistance from search and rescue organizations. Sex assault charges against a chief of a Manitoba First Nation have been stayed. Earlier this month, Crown prosecutors in Saskatchewan entered a stay of proceedings against Donald Smoke after determining there was no reasonable likelihood of conviction. Smoke, the acting chief of Dakota Plains First Nation, was arrested and charged with 2 counts of sexual assault in February. RCMP said at the time the incidents were alleged to have taken place in Kindersley, Saskatchewan in February of 2024. The matter was set to proceed to a jury trial in Saskatoon before Crown prosecutors decided not to proceed. Smoke's lawyer tells CTV News the allegation was, quote, meritless, malicious, and false. RCMP say they've been called to an ostrich farm in the BC interior where about 400 birds were ordered to be culled. This video was captured earlier today at Universal Ostrich Farms in Edwood, BC. The RCMP issued a statement today saying the Canadian Food Inspection Agency has been granted authority for a search warrant on the property, and police are there to provide support. Activists have denounced the decision by the CFIA to order the cull after an avian flu outbreak in December. World leaders are in New York City this week at the United Nations for the 80th General Assembly. Front and center, the question of Palestinian statehood. More than 150 countries, including most recently Canada, have officially recognized Palestine. It's a political decision that could put several G7 countries in conflict with both Israel and the United States. Judy Trin has more.
As we meet, civilians are targeted and international law trampled in Gaza, the Ukraine, Sudan, and beyond.
As the 80th session of the United Nations General Assembly opens, growing support for Palestinian statehood dominates the agenda. 3 G7 nations, Britain, France, and Canada, are recognizing the state of Palestine to apply political pressure to end the war in Gaza.
We have to push on this now because, as I say, the possibility in absolute violation of the UN Charter and in absolute violation of international law of self-determination for the Palestinian peoples is being erased.
Carney says Hamas would not have a role in governance. Instead, Canada, in a coordinated effort with like-minded countries, will work with the Palestinian Authority in the West Bank toward a 2-state solution in a plan for peace that could also call for troops.
There are many proposals, as I suspect you're aware, from a variety of Arab states, combination of Arab states and European states, to which Canada would be party.
It has been nearly 2 years since the October 7th attacks, but Israel's prime minister has vowed not to stop the war until Hamas is eradicated.
The starvation and devastation are utterly intolerable.
It is not diplomacy. When Hamas is praising this conference and calling it the fruit of October 7th, we know it's a problem.
4 of the 5 permanent members of the UN Security Council, Britain, France, Russia, and China, recognize Palestine, except for the United States.
He feels this does not do anything to release the hostages, which is the primary goal right now in Gaza, does nothing to end this conflict and bring this war to a close. And frankly, he believes it's a reward to Hamas.
U.S. President Donald Trump will make his stance clear when he speaks in front of the UN General Assembly on Tuesday. Right now, 150 nations recognize the state of Palestine, but the one country that has the most influence on Israel, the United States, does not. Judy Trin, CTV News, New York.
U.S. President Donald Trump making medical news today, claiming there is a possible link between Tylenol use in pregnant women and autism. But doctors and scientists around that country are refuting this claim. ABC's Rena Roy has the latest.
Today, President Trump announcing his administration has discovered a root cause of autism.
First, effective immediately, the FDA will be notifying physicians that the use of acetaminophen during pregnancy can be associated with a very increased risk of autism. For this reason, they are strongly recommending that women limit Tylenol use during pregnancy unless medically necessary.
Scholars and medical experts pushing back against this claim, saying no known medical studies have proven that link. Researchers say that the rates of Tylenol use in pregnancy have gone down in recent years, even as autism rates have risen amid increased awareness of the disorder and widening of the definition of the spectrum. Some limited evidence suggests that Tylenol use during pregnancy is associated with higher rates of neurological issues, but studies have been mixed.
It's really hard to do these studies because you have to separate out the effects of taking acetaminophen from the reasons that women take it. And the studies, especially the two most recent studies that take these things into account, find that acetaminophen does not increase the risk for autism.
The maker of Tylenol saying they strongly disagree with this claim, saying acetaminophen is the safest pain reliever option for pregnant women as needed throughout their entire pregnancy. Without it, women face dangerous choices, suffer through conditions like fever that are potentially harmful to both mom and baby, or use riskier alternatives. Scientists who have studied autism for decades warn the administration coming to a conclusion in just a few months is not enough time to determine a single cause. Rena Roy, ABC News, New York.
Nearly a week after being suspended, Disney says Jimmy Kimmel Live will be back on air tomorrow. A statement released by the company on the show's return says in part, quote, "It is a decision we made because we felt some of the comments were ill-timed as thus insensitive. We have spent the last days having thoughtful conversations with Jimmy," end quote. The show was pulled last week over comments Kimmel made about the assassination of Charlie Kirk, a move that sparked concerns around free speech in the United States. And a super typhoon pummeled parts of the Philippines today, forcing evacuations and triggering storm alerts across Southeast Asia. Footage released by local officials shows strong winds and torrential rain causing large waves to form along the coast of the Philippines. Super Typhoon Ragasa made landfall there and is the strongest storm of the year so far. Authorities suspended work and school across Manila, with residents in coastal communities forced to evacuate. Coming up, an induction ceremony in Saskatoon honoring longtime hockey players who still hit the ice for the love of the game.
Students have settled back into their classrooms, but how are things really going? Tuesday on Your Morning, a conversation with the province's education minister. We'll see you bright and early at 6.
Welcome back. Taking a look at what you can expect for your forecast for tonight into tomorrow and pretty much the rest of the weekend too. The weekend is looking quite nice. I mentioned earlier the autumn equinox entered Saskatchewan at 12:19 today, but felt more like summer today. A lot of sunshine. Temperatures did warm up into the 20s. 23 was the daytime high we got to in the Regina area. Did have the winds picking up quite a bit. Last I checked, the strongest wind gust coming through was this afternoon up to about 50, just over 50 kilometers an hour. Now, we will start to see those winds settle. Currently just under 30 kilometers an hour. 20 is what we're sitting at right now. And as we head into tomorrow, those temperatures will climb back up. Winds will calm a little bit, but we do have some more strong wind gusts returning nearing the weekend. I'll talk about that in a second. In terms of what we did have come through today, not a whole lot. Earlier this morning, we did have some precipitation coming into the west and did reach into parts of central Saskatchewan. East was pretty much much clear for much of the day. A little bit of that cloud cover, though, making its way through this afternoon. Now, what's to come? I'll show you, because there isn't really much going on. Continuing to see clear conditions, fairly calm conditions as well as we head into tomorrow. Starting your day out, again, mainly sunny for most of the province, especially in southern Saskatchewan. That's expected to continue as we head into Wednesday morning as well. Could expect to see some rain further north by Wednesday morning. But central Saskatchewan continuing to see mostly clear conditions. A lot of sunshine sticking around for those who thrive when there's more sunshine out, not covered by the clouds. Temperatures tonight still above average, although Prince Albert starting to look a little cooler. Still within that average range. 2 degrees tonight. The average is about 3. But tomorrow we're back into the 20s for much of Saskatchewan. 25 for Prince Albert tomorrow. 24 for Lloydminster. 23 for La Ronge. 21 for La Loche. Again, some areas could see a little bit of that cloud cover, like North Battleford. 27 with a mix of sun and cloud. 26 and sunny for Saskatoon tomorrow. 23 and sunny for Yorkton. The southwest, again, high 20s for much of the area. Maple Creek, Swift Current, 26 and sunshine. 27 and sunny for Moose Jaw tonight, right within that seasonal range of 3 degrees with a little bit of cloud cover. 24 for Weyburn and Estevan, and nothing but sunshine. And 25 and sunshine for Assiniboia. For Regina tonight, 9 degrees, clear conditions, and warming up to 24 with a whole lot of sunshine expected. The winds getting up to about 20 kilometers an hour. Now, what's to come for the next 7 days, you ask? Well, let me show you. 24 and sunny tomorrow. 29 is the expected daytime high on Wednesday. Sunshine throughout the day, cooling to 21, still above seasonal by Thursday. Sunshine there. Mainly sunny on Friday. Winds will be a little bit stronger that day. The wind gusts anyway, up to about 55. Could be even closer to 60 kilometers an hour, but 20 is the expected daytime high on Friday. And by the time your weekend arrives, 22 on Saturday, warming back up to 25 and mainly sunny on Sunday. And by Monday, again, another windy day, a windy start to your work week, where we could see those wind gusts getting up to closer to 60 kilometer an hour winds. The temperature, though, getting closer back down to that seasonal range. 19 is the expected daytime high. And it does look, the more I looked into the long range forecast, that we could expect to see those temperatures start to get back into the seasonal range of about 17 degrees, 16 degrees by the time we get into next week. So this week, I don't want to say it is the last week of summer-like conditions, because we could always be surprised, but it does look like those temperatures are going to get back into that seasonal range by next week.
Right, but at least it's an extra week of summer.
Exactly. Enjoy that. Enjoy those summer-like conditions this week.
Well, you can. All right, thanks, Sabine.
You bet.
Well, hockey players from across Western Canada will soon be headed to Saskatoon, at least next year, for a special induction ceremony. Hallie Mandrick has more on the competitors, proving that age is just a number.
Let's show them how to play.
Saskatoon's Tro Arena is home to a very unique hockey league.
I guess our attitude changes too, where you're here to have fun more than yeah, there's the odd guy that still thinks he can make the NHL, but I doubt it. But yeah, it's just for camaraderie more than anything else. And the coffee after is worth more than the hockey game before.
The Saskatoon 60-plus Hockey League is an opportunity for folks to keep doing what they love, no matter their age.
It's an inspiration. I mean, I hope when I'm 80 I can still bend over and tie my shoes, but let alone strap a pair of blades on and go out there and play. But
many of those on the team have been inducted into the 80-plus Hockey Hall of Fame, a national organization which recognizes Canadians who are still on the ice after turning 80. An induction ceremony is held in Saskatoon every 4 years, and this spring is set to see more than 30 players from across Western Canada honored.
we try to make it for the not only for the inductees but their families and all that stuff. And that's the cool part about it, is the families, how they're part of the ceremony as well. So it's very rewarding.
There's also special recognition for those on skates after celebrating their 90th birthday, an honor Stan Hallowell recently received.
Well, you get a little bit of exercise, and then I figure it's always half on the ice and the other half in the dressing room. Just the people you meet there, and it's just a great place to be.
While the league members are certainly thankful for the recognition, they say it's about a lot more than that.
Keeping them in shape, yeah, getting out of the house. My wife loves it because I leave for a while. It's great. A great bunch of guys.
And you got to do something. I mean, you just want to sit in a rocking chair and die? Well, no.
got to do something.
Hallie Mandrick, CTV News, Saskatoon.
Sometimes the best defense is a good offense. Just ask the Moose Jaw Warriors. Look back at the WHL's opening weekend after the break.
Wardrobe consideration in part by Colin O'Brien Men's Shop.
Tough start to the WHL season for the Regina Pats, although one of their first-round draft picks hit their first milestone.
Win against the Medicine Hat Tigers, but here comes Clausen. In the slot goes the fire. Rebound, and the Pats score.
Liam Pugh with his first ever WHL goal, but it would not be enough as the Swift Current Broncos held on for the 4-3 win, the only game for the Broncos on the weekend. The Pats also dropped a 5-2 decision to the Tigers in Medicine Hat. Pats home opener Friday night against the Prince Albert Raiders.
On the wall, Pavlik trying to join the play as he comes out of the pile with the puck. Drives right circle to McFadden. Scores!
Well, if you like goals, then the Moose Jaw Warriors could be the team for you. They netted 15 goals this weekend, a 6-4 victory in Brandon on Friday, and a 9-7 win at home on Saturday. 4 players have 5 points on the season, including Pavel McKenzie, Landon McFadden. Moose Jaw, one of 2 Eastern Conference teams that won 2 games on the weekend. Next up for them, Swift Current at home on Saturday. SJHL, the Warman Wolverines held their inaugural home opener Friday night against the Humboldt Broncos, the franchise's first game since the Hounds were relocated from Wilcox. And more than 1,300 fans were in attendance for the team's first game at the Warman Communiplex, including League Commissioner Kyle McIntyre. Despite the excitement and plenty of chances, the Wolverines, well, they ran into a hot goaltender, Charlie Tritt. 30 saves for the shutout. The Broncos would skate to a 3-0 victory on the road. The Wolverines said despite being held off the score sheet, the energy in the building was something special.
Yeah, I think we're all looking for it. Like, we were wanting it really bad. Sucks obviously for us, and then obviously for the fans that we couldn't do that for them tonight. But next Saturday against Kindersley, we're hoping to do that for them.
When a building's packed, it always gets the players up and fired up and try to get the rest out of them. So I thought both ways that it was a physical game at times, and there was a lot of good plays and a lot of big saves. So it was great to see the fans enjoy it.
Yep, the SJHL is back. Weyburn won both games as well this weekend against Yorkton. Wolverines, by the way, back at home Saturday night against the Kindersley Clippers. Hopefully the attendance continues to be high. Meanwhile, Saturday, great day to celebrate some of the most impactful people and teams in Saskatchewan sports history. 3 athletes, John Ryan, Julie Foster, and Noah Miller, were inducted back to the Saskatchewan Sports Hall of Fame. It was actually done in April, but this weekend they were able to gather with family and friends to see their names front and center in the museum's archives. The builder category, Brad Hornung and Clara Kazmarki Miller were inducted. Meanwhile, the 1997 and 98 Regina Rams Junior Football Club and the 1978 and 1980 Saskatoon Harmony Center women's softball teams were also inducted.
They just kind of surprise you and say, we just want to congratulate you. You've been inducted into the Sports Hall of Fame. And it is amazing that you can be recognized for the sports that you play.
It means a lot. I always love coming back to Regina and to come back for this reason. It's really a special weekend for me. I grew up as a kid coming to this building, seeing guys like Gordie Howe, Mary Bonnie Baker, see their exhibits in here. And now to think that I'm going to be included in that is just kind of a surreal thought right now.
Now, Julie, by the way, also a very good hockey player, good at 2 sports. A dinner and ceremony took place Saturday night as well, where the 2025 class joined the previous 554 inductees. Coming up, Regina police need your help to catch a liquor thief.
Welcome back. Let's take a look at what your rural forecast is looking like heading into tomorrow. And same story as what we've been talking about already. Above seasonal temperatures in the mid to some areas low 20s, but sunshine expected throughout much of the province. Let's take a look at what's coming up. 23 degrees in Wynyard and Hudson Bay and Meadow Lake, all seeing mostly sunny conditions. 27 for Outlook and Kindersley, 26 for Watrous, 25 for Melfort and Lloydminster, and 24 in Spiritwood. When we get closer to the southern border, expecting a lot more more sunshine, less cloud cover. Temperatures similar to what we just saw there. 27 for Rosetown and Leader, 26 for Maple Creek, 24 for Pilot Butte and Lumsden, 23 in the southeast. Taking a closer look at Radville, 130 kilometers south of Regina, named after Conrad Paquin, whose undeveloped farmland is what the town is built on. Took the last 3 letters of his first name, added Ville. Welcome to Radville. 24 degrees, mainly sunny tomorrow. Winds not too bad either, up to about 20 kilometers an hour. That 24 may feel closer to about 25 or 26 degrees tomorrow.
The incidents have happened at a business on the 300 block of Albert Street North between the dates of May the 29th and August the 29th. Several times a man has entered the store and stolen several bottles of liquor. During that time, he has also been violent towards the employees. If you know who this is, call Crime Stoppers.
I'm Constable Dana Adams with the Regina Police Service. Crime Stoppers will pay up to $2,000 cash reward for information on this or any other serious crime in Regina. Callers do not have to identify themselves. Calls are not traced or recorded. In Regina, Saskatchewan, and Canada, call Crime Stoppers at 1-800-222-TIPS. That's 1-800-222-8477. You can also access our website at www.reginacrimestoppers.ca. Remember, our community suffers when you remain silent. Please report crime.
Crime Stoppers is brought to you by Leak Audiology, helping you live well with better hearing.
Saskatoon City Council will decide whether a developer can skip the taxes to encourage construction of a new high-rise. Keenan Sorkon has those details.
Construction has begun on what will eventually be a 14-story building where the former Extra Foods used to be on Broadway Avenue. The building will have 2 separate commercial spaces on the ground floor, with a parkade occupying the next 3 floors and 124 residential units taking up the rest of the building. And people on Broadway want to know if that means a grocery store is coming back to the neighborhood.
I actually live not too far, and I miss it a lot. There's like no grocery stores by Broadway anymore.
This is what they would call a food desert now.
Others feel while a grocery store is needed, it might not be in the near future.
It would be nice, but I don't think that sort of building would be warranted here. The building itself sounds too expensive, and the groceries would be expensive.
To encourage infill construction, city administration is recommending council approve a 5-year tax abatement, which will save the company more than $1.6 million in taxes, split between municipal and provincial taxes. Residents will have to wait when construction wraps up in 2027 to find out what ends up on the ground floor.
We do need a grocery store someplace.
Right.
I was hoping Pitchfork would come in here when they started getting places, but that didn't work.
City Council will make a decision on the tax break on Wednesday. Keenan Sorkon, CTV News, Saskatoon.
Meanwhile, the city of Saskatoon honoring residential school survivors ahead of National Day for Truth and Reconciliation, which happens at the end of the month. The survivors flag honors residential school survivors and those impacted by the residential school system. Each element of the flag was chosen by survivors from across Canada. The flag-raising ceremony also heard from community leaders and residential school survivors.
It was only in the 1970s that we began to talk about the experiences, the traumatic experiences of being institutionalized.
National Truth and Reconciliation Day is on Tuesday, September the 30th. Well, it might not be everyone's cup of tea, but it's a long-time tradition. Carla Shinkaruk takes us to high tea.
Well, that's really nice.
It's really good.
Experiencing the often proper high tea tradition is not something usually associated with the Saskatchewan prairies, but you can search out a few places here, and the newest one is along the South Saskatchewan River.
I didn't realize that they did high teas as well, which is, just extra special and, a lot of fun.
This birthday girl, who is celebrating her 30th year, has participated in a high tea ceremony before as a fan of everything tea-related, and she says this event was unexpected.
My sister surprised me and are treating me to a nice high tea. They know me well. I love collecting teacups. I love tea. It's always such a nice thing to do with friends and family.
High tea is hosted every Sunday here at the shop at River Landing. There are a lot of procedures involved in a traditional high tea, from placement of the napkin to how to break the delicate pastries on the 3-tiered serving platter. But this one here, the Saskatoon version, provides its own flair.
And all of a sudden, we're all on the group chat. What does that mean? What do we even wear? So apparently, you're supposed to do hats and stuff like that, but we just decided to go a little more dressy and just wear your own style.
So while there are a lot of formalities with high tea, here they want you to focus on savoring the moment.
Slow down and like connect and relax. We first serve our teas, so we have like the time to like let them chat first, and then after we take all the towers out.
We have our maple walnut. So awesome to offer something like this to the community, a fun space to feel pretty and kind of disappear into like pink.
This may not be in the heart of London where you'd expect to find high tea, but the Saskatoon charm along the riverbank is a hit here. Carla Shinkaruk, CTV News, Saskatoon.
Yes, from high tea to the stock markets. TSX up 190 points. The Dow Jones up a little less, 66 points today. As for the Canadian dollar, it stayed the same. It's at 72.33 cents U.S. Commodity front, gold went up $61.39. Nice little jump. West Texas Intermediate crude, it dropped by 12 cents. Western Canadian Select crude dropping by the same price. So we take a look at gas per liter in Regina, and commonly found, if not all, for $1.39.9 per liter. Coming up tonight after the newscast, we've got The Voice is kicking off, followed by The Weakest Link at 9 o'clock, The Big Bang Theory once at 10, and then E-Talk with your national news and local news. Okay, so 4 famous Hobbits took center stage to close out the 2025 edition of the Edmonton Fan Expo.
Decked out in customized Oilers jerseys, actors Don Monahan, Billy Boyd, Sean Astin, and Elijah Wood were greeted by thousands of screaming fans. They look like they're having a good time. The quartet took to the stage to talk about their careers and, of course, Lord of the Rings. They also took time to shout out a couple of local couple celebrating their love with Lord of the Ring wedding earlier this past weekend.
It definitely brought us a lot closer together. And for me, it opened up my imagination more, so I was able to get more into like Dungeons and Dragons and the fantasy world.
It's a pretty ring. The actors offered some sage advice for the newlyweds. Don't lose the ring.
Definitely have a kid by now.
My precious. So they have a nice expo.
And a Saskatoon comic book shop celebrated an iconic super... I'm a little upset that I didn't know about this happening this weekend, over the weekend.
The Dark Knight was in the spotlight Saturday, part of the annual Batman Day celebration. The event launched back in 2014 to mark Batman's 75th anniversary, and it's now held on the 3rd Saturday of September each year.
Noted.
The day honors the pop culture icon known as the Cape Crusader. One comic book store owner says it brings in business and, of course, gives Batman fans a chance to come together.
And basically just a lot of happy people coming in talking Batman, so we get to share stories and what our favorite books are, kind of thing. It's very fun. It's very social.
He says the store's been celebrating Batman Day for years, and it's growing in popularity. So that begs the question, Sabine.
Who's the best Batman?
Who's the best Batman?
Michael Keaton. I will forever die on that hill. Does that make sense? Forever die on that hill?
Yes, that is a...
And you?
Adam West?
Oh, I knew you were going to do this.